The London Predator. The cobbled streets of Victorian London, slick with rain and shadowed by gaslight, held a terror that no fog could conceal. A series of gruesome murders had gripped the city, each more horrifying than the last. The victims, drained of blood, their bodies twisted into grotesque parodies of human form, spoke of a horror beyond mortal understanding. The police, baffled and overwhelmed, whispered of a madman, a butcher unleashed upon the unsuspecting populace. But the truth, lurking just beyond the veil of sanity, was far more terrifying. Something ancient, something unholy had awakened in the heart of London. Detective Inspector Alistair Finch, a man hardened by years on the force, felt a chill crawl down his spine with each new crime scene. The dread intensified, a suffocating weight pressing down on his soul. The victims, in their final moments, shared a single, unifying expression: utter, unadulterated terror. Cryptic symbols etched into the walls near the bodies hinted at a ritualistic element, a dark purpose beyond simple bloodlust. A faint, almost imperceptible scent clung to the air, something metallic and ancient, something alien. Finch began to suspect that the killer was not human. He pored over ancient texts, consulted with occultists, desperate for any clue, any explanation. The city held its breath, waiting for the next strike, the next descent into madness. Finch knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that time was running out. Finch found himself drawn to Blackwood Manor, an abandoned estate on the outskirts of the city. The manor, steeped in local legend, was rumored to be cursed, a place where darkness festered and shadows danced with malevolent intent. Locals whispered of unspeakable rituals performed within its walls, of sacrifices made to forgotten gods. The air around the manor was thick with the stench of decay and a strange metallic scent that made Finch's stomach churn. He followed a trail of blood, glistening crimson against the overgrown weeds, his heart pounding in his chest. The trail led inexorably towards the manor's cellar, a gaping maw of darkness promising unimaginable horrors. He hesitated for only a moment, the weight of his duty pressing down on him. He drew his revolver, the cold steel a small comfort against the encroaching dread, and descended into the darkness. The air grew colder, the silence deeper, the sense of wrongness almost unbearable. In the depths of the cellar, bathed in the faint moonlight filtering through cracks in the foundation, Finch discovered the source of the terror. It was a creature, a grotesque parody of humanity, something that should not exist. Its skin was stretched taut over bone, a sickly parchment color that seemed to absorb the light. Its eyes burned with an unholy light, twin embers of ancient malice that pierced through the darkness. Tall and gaunt, with limbs that bent at unnatural angles, it moved with a disturbing fluidity, a predator perfectly adapted to its environment. A gaping maw, filled with rows of needle-sharp teeth, dominated its face. The creature was feeding, its mouth dripping with crimson, the air thick with the coppery tang of blood. It tore at the flesh with savage hunger, oblivious to Finch's presence, lost in its gruesome feast. Finch felt a wave of nausea wash over him, a primal revulsion at the sight before him. The creature sensed Finch's presence, its head snapping up, its eyes locking onto his with predatory intensity. A low growl, a sound that scraped against the edges of sanity, emanated from its throat. It rose to its full height, towering over Finch, a monstrous silhouette against the pale moonlight. It lunged, a blur of unnatural speed and savage intent, its claws extended, ready to tear flesh from bone. Finch fired his revolver, the shots echoing through the cellar, the smell of gunpowder filling the air. The bullet seemed to barely faze the creature, glancing off its hide with little effect. It moved with impossible agility, dodging and weaving, closing the distance between them with terrifying speed. Its claws tore through Finch's coat, leaving long, bloody gashes on his arm. Finch fought back, fueled by adrenaline and a desperate will to survive, but he knew he was outmatched. He emptied his revolver, the bullets impacting against the creature's flesh, but it continued its relentless advance. Finch stumbled backward, his breath coming in ragged gasps, his strength failing. He was cornered, trapped in the darkness with a monster from beyond human comprehension. Finch looked into the creature's eyes, saw the cold, ancient hunger that burned within. He understood, with a chilling clarity, that this was not a mere beast, but a predator from beyond the veil of reality. London was its hunting ground, its inhabitants nothing more than prey. The fog thickened, swirling through the streets, swallowing the city in a blanket of fear. The creature claimed its next victim, its hunger insatiable, its presence a stain upon the fabric of reality. The horror had only just begun.